the sake of convenience and because I don't like any appellations to my name and because I meet with international people from time very well. You can go Sigun or all those stuff. So I just go by S.E. Gun. Very simple. S.E. Gun. I see you are spelling my name. You get? So that's okay for me. All right. So very quickly before we start, I'm going to teach us a little something, and then we have a performance poetry, and then I introduce you to my co-anchor because I'll not be doing this alone. Now, I will teach you how to celebrate yourself. But first, let me have an idea of how you celebrate yourself. All right, so please celebrate yourself. Yeah, una try. But if I'm to judge by my judgeometer, the extent of the passion you have for yourself, I'll say it is small. You need to celebrate yourself with more ginger. But this is how we celebrate ourselves. This is what I will teach you. So watch me. All right, are we ready? Please celebrate yourself. Yeah. How did that feel? Yeah, that's how it is done. That's how it is done. All right, with that, let me quickly introduce you to my co-anchor because very soon I'll be disappearing from this stage, but at least now I have the floor. He's no other person than a stubborn brother of mine, Ayo Ajishafe. Please let me celebrate him as he comes forward. Yeah, he likes to trip. He's in the family.
When you have a Goliath as your elder brother, some of the time you get intimidated by him. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Is it morning? Maybe I didn't sleep. Don't mind me. What time is it? Please, what time is it? 9 p.m. I need to go back to bed. All right, good morning, ladies and gentlemen. It's good to be here. My name is Ayokunle Ajishafe. You can easily call me Aji. My name is not as long as he is. Celebrate yourself. Shegun. You brought this thing here. I'll tell you for my mommy.
People need to learn to celebrate themselves. I mean, all of you are aware of what is happening around the world. We're having issues with people struggling with depression and all that, and resorting to committing suicide. We don't want that to happen here, do we? And I don't know what is causing it, but one thing I know is if you appreciate your achievements, no matter how little, and learn to celebrate yourself, you are most likely not going to get depressed. And what are we here about? We're here about the TEDx talk for Elizade University and talking about shaping the future. It is only those that are alive that can shape the future. And that's the reason why I do that. I encourage people to celebrate themselves because of the achievements that you are set to do. Is that okay?
And also give themselves a warm hug.
Yeah.
It's actually a cold morning.
Yes. You want to go back to the house of it. Human being like you. All right, we're going to have like an introductory performance right now from a fantastic young man who just knows how to string words together in a way that is exciting, captivating, educating, and fun. He goes by the name Ola the Raw Poet. Please make way, celebrate this young man as he comes forward.
The Raw Poet. Please, if you want to celebrate him, you can do it better than that.
Let's do it raw.
celebrate yourselves. That's not the way you were taught. Please, let's do it again. Celebrate yourselves. Okay? Yeah. Okay, that's cool. So very quickly, you're about to listen to a spoken word piece on ignorance. So just listen. How many of us can remember this nursery rhyme? We sang it like this. Sanda lily, 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 sanda lily. See, those were what we sung before we found out that the actual words of the song were standard living. But that wasn't when it started. See, many years ago, when the aged were younger, they had the belief that twins were evil. So they killed them in their yet tender state, all because they came in twos. Now, with a little more ponder, they would agree that they were fools whom only couldn't decipher motherhood's wonder. See, ignorance was their truth. Now, the funny thing about ignorance is, ignorance makes you think you know everything. Like Wiki, you think you're familiar with every bin. Like a reverend father, you think you're familiar with every sin. But the truth is, nigga, you don't know nothing. For to know is to know that what you know is nothing. So many years ago, they reduced quadruplets to triplets, triplets to twins, twins who were eventually killed still. And it took the intervention of Chris Lesser to chase ignorance off this shore before they could get to many more like Peter and Paul, or even Ibeji Oron. Ibeji Oron, albeit safe from ritual killings, weren't safe from stereotyping. Not because they were uncool. They only had the looks of an uncool. Now, rumors spread like a prostitute that ignorance penetrated, and the demons feasted on their mother's womb like weevil, turning the kids into evil. But demons didn't feast on their mother's womb. It was only ignorance that spread like a prostitute's leg, and it was ignorance that penetrated, screwing some nuts. Because we had Sam Benz, who was better to doctor parents diagnosed with aging syndrome, just 22 months. See, Sam Benz had progeria, the same disease Ibeji Oron had here in Nigeria. But the folks around Ibeji Oron were suffering greater disease, ignorance. Now, let me tell you quickly, ignorance is a disease, making the living a diseased, drowning in degrees of shallowness, while he thinks his knowledge is of excellence like 360 degrees. I say to you again, ignorance is a disease, making the living a disease, drowning in degrees of shallowness, while he thinks his knowledge is of excellence like 360 degrees. But today, a former version of ignorance, a more matured form, walks around us with shoulders high, wearing the mask of self-denial. It's like we know, but we act like we don't. So if you know that our land needs healing. See, jungle justice keeps prevailing. We are killing innocent beings. Play 2 is not just ordinary killings. Suffering and smiling, we joke over all these stories. Neglecting the power of our PVCs. The leaders of tomorrow are today still crawling like babies. Fulani is just a word that daggers fear into my bodies, into all of us bodies. And government is just a synonym for looting. See, they say ignorance can't be completely eradicated, but it can be reduced. The numbers of loved ones that we lose to cancer, the number of accidents that we record on the road, the numbers of young adults, hustlers crossing over to crime's path, the numbers of those that move from Niger to Niger, then to Chad, before they cross over to Libya, a long-suffering journey of self-inflicted slavery. It can all be reduced. However, it is ignorance in itself to think that ignorance can't be completely eradicated and can only be reduced. But then it is sheer stupidity if we will only fold our hands and do wakanda without acting on ignorance. It would would only be sheer stupidity. See, the lights are on and the camera is rolling. You still have time. So why not act while you can? Because where we are today, we might not be able to give the future that we deserve. We might not be able to get it and even give it to the next generation. But the next generation after the next generation, they deserve a beautiful future. So when they come, as they sing the song and they sing the actual words of the song, they will live in each word of the song. When they sing, they will sing standard living, standard living, standard living, standard living, standard living, standard living. And they will just sing the song. They will live in each word.
Wow. Wow. You know, interestingly, I remember singing that song too when I was in primary school. Maybe for the sake of refresher course. Those of you that sang it, let's sing it together. Sandalili, 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 sandalili. I'm a big boy in my country. Somebody you know me well. If you look me up and down, you will see that is true, Abi. Sandalili, sandalili. Ah, please celebrate that young man. Stringing words together, talking about ignorance and preparing us to shape the future. And then I'm going to call the next act very quickly. He's a musical artist, and by the time I asked him to introduce himself to me, he went, I am Dope L. You get it? So ladies and gentlemen, make welcome Dope L!
If you wanna shape the future now, you gotta start today, you gotta start today. Shaping the future, you gotta start today. ẹjọ́ ní kẹ̀kẹ́ wọ́n wọ Gucci wọ́n wọ time wọ́n wọ ṣùsì wọ́n dé tie wọ́n ya fọ́tò wọ́n ṣe style wọ́n bọ́ títì wọ́n pé báyìí ó dọ̀dọ̀ rẹ̀ wọ́n kan báyìí ìyẹn náà rẹ̀ jọ kan báyìí wọ́n sanwó wọ́n bọ́lẹ̀ ẹjọ́ ní ìrọ̀lẹ́ o ẹnu yín láti máa gbọ́ pé a ti ṣàkó o ẹ̀yin náà lẹ́mọ̀gbà tí wọ́n fa ṣíṣà kó o ẹnu sọ náà ẹ̀dẹ̀ tó lè fẹnu yìnbọn náà ẹnu yín láti máa gbọ́ pé yín ní àkó ẹ̀yin náà lẹ́mọ̀gbà tí wọ́n fa ṣíṣà kó o ẹnu sọ náà ẹ̀dẹ̀ tó lè fẹnu yìnbọn náà bọ́ kíni gẹ́nẹ́ kíni gẹ́nẹ́ o kíni gẹ́nẹ́ ọ kíni gẹ́nẹ́ sọ fún mi kíni gẹ́nẹ́ o kíni gẹ́nẹ́ oh ẹjọ́ is my hobby ẹjọ́ everywhere even in the library I'm not sorry for disturbing but Àtúndé ṣẹ̀ṣẹ̀ ra mọ́tò tuntun bọ́dì tuntun bọ̀ ẹ́ńjìn òtútù wọ́n ní mọ́mí dádì ẹ̀ ló gbé fún ẹ ti rí gbọ́ ẹkùn ẹnu yín lọ ti máa gbọ́ pé a ti ṣàkó ẹ̀yin náà lẹ mọ̀gbà tí wọ́n fa ṣíṣàkó ẹnu sọ náà ẹ̀dẹ̀ tí ó lè fẹnu yìnbọn náà ẹnu yín lọ ti máa gbọ́ pé ẹnjìníyà kú ẹ̀yin náà lẹ mọ̀gbà tí wọ́n fa ṣíṣàkó ẹnu sọ náà ẹ̀dẹ̀ tí ó lè fẹnu yìnbọn náà bọ́ kíni gẹ́nẹ́ kíni sọ fún mi kíni gẹ́nẹ́ o kíni gẹ́nẹ́ ọ kíni gẹ́nẹ́ kíni gẹ́nẹ́ kíni gẹ́nẹ́ o kíni gẹ́nẹ́ oh she say no be my fault oh hey ẹnu mi ò lè dúró lójú kan ni hey he say no be my fault oh hey kẹnu mi má kó bá mi ni hey thank you. So,
Wow. Interesting. That was very, very amazing. Please celebrate this young man. You know, in this age and time where the art of music is fast disappearing, now what we have is just a concoction of beats and sounds. I just made it right. That wasn't intentional. Sorry. I don't usually do rhymes. But it's refreshing to find, you know, people that actually do music and string words that have message. Please help me celebrate Dope L. That was awesome. That was awesome. Now, when you are in town, you understand? In town, Akure, give me a call. Yeah, I work at Futa Radio, so I can get, sure you understand. Did you catch that one on there? So that they won't tell me the promise. Well, let's see. That was beautiful. All right, right about the time when he was giving his presentation, the Vice Chancellor walked into the hall. And of course, we have our speakers seated in front and ready to make this event awesome and what's coming. Please let me celebrate all of them. And right about now, let us commence the program proper. I wish to welcome us all, both our online and real-time guests, to TEDxElizadeUniversity with the theme Shaping the Future. And right about now, I would like to invite Orobosa Iponwe for the welcome address. Please let me celebrate as she comes forward. Keep clapping, keep clapping. They've done a fantastic work of putting this stuff together. Don't be deceived, though. These people are powerful.
Good morning. I'm Orobo Said Momen. Today, we are shaping the future. Today, we are using words to shape our future, not just in a way where we fantasize about what we want to see in our future, but in a way where the words we will hear today would help us to actually live out what we are going to hear. So, on behalf of everybody, the team of Elizade University, this is TEDxElizade University, and welcome to Shaping the Future. I expect that at the end of this event, you will have more ammunition to face our world today. You will have more knowledge to be able to solve problems. You will have more experience at the end of this event to be able to live your life as free as possibly and help others achieve their dreams also. So once more, welcome to this event. Welcome to Shaping the Future. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Yesterday, while scrolling through the social media, I came across a very, very interesting quote that has stuck with me since I, encountered it. Now, it says, "You don't exist to pleasure someone. You exist to change the world." I'll take that again. You don't exist to pleasure someone. You exist to change the world. And I'm sure that is what informed the presence of some of us here. Our desire to change our world as we know it. And like she said, be sure that we will be armed to do just that. And right now, let me make welcome to tell us about TEDxElizade University, the licensee, the curator, the organizer, TEDxElizadeUniversity. Please, let's celebrate this young man. By the way, he's a Toastmaster as well. Those that knows.
Thank you very much, Mr. Shegun Omojola, for that wonderful introduction. Good morning, everybody in the house. I am Feishade Charles Adeyemi, and I am the organizer, licensee, and curator of TEDxElizade University. Over the past few weeks, I've been asked several questions about what does TED mean, and usually I tell people that TED is an acronym for technology, entertainment, and science. But what I did not tell those who did not register and who are not in the audience now is that TED actually started in 1984 in the Silicon Valley as a platform for sharing ideas that are around technology, entertainment, and science. But now it has expanded beyond just technology, entertainment, and science into a global network of ideas, in humanities, in any field of human endeavor, not just technology, entertainment, and science anymore. And that is why today you would find that in Elizade University, a center of academic excellence, we have attracted some of the best young people in this country to give wonderful speeches in the TED way on various areas of life, various disciplines. And to kick it off, we have our Vice Chancellor. Please, can we please give a round of applause to our Vice Chancellor? As those of us who are students or staff in Elizade University know, our Vice Chancellor is a father who is always supportive of creative ideas and ideas sharing platforms. We also do know that this month has been a month of celebration in the Elizade University community, because this month is the month of the birthday of our founder, Chief Michael Ade-Ojo, who has been the most incredible leader in the most dynamic way, an entrepreneurial leader who leads by example. I have not met Chief Ade-Ojo in person. I've always sat in the same audience with him. but we've not had any conversation. But of course, he has inspired myself and every single one of us here, definitely, massively. And I can assure you that what we are doing today is exactly the kind of thing that Chief Adeojo wants to see happening in Elizade University. And I can assure you that he's very proud of us. And I want to believe he's actually watching live since we are live streaming and he's aware of it. And even if that is not the case, he would eventually see the curated videos. So TEDxElizade University, the theme is shaping the future, because that exactly is what Elizade University is about. Elizade University is about transforming the future of this country positively, and we are very confident that the students we are training here are going to deliver the goods. Without further ado, I would like to hand over the microphone so that my Vice Chancellor, our father, is going to tell us in the third way, 12 minutes, why we are here shaping the future. Thank you very much.
Please help me celebrate him loud enough for our online guests to feel that. All right, one thing about the TEDx event is every speaker has a limited space, time, to actually deliver what they have to say. And for this one, every speaker has 12 minutes. And of course, to build the cards, for those who are aware and remember that story of how the cards was built, is no other person than the Vice Chancellor of Elizade University in the person of Professor Theophilus Fadayomi. Please let me celebrate him as he comes forward to give his talk on shaping the future.
It is my pleasure to be in the midst of young people. I believe so much in the youth of this country. I believe that you are the foundation, in the sense that you are the people who will mend our roads, who will build our bridges, who will run the factories. And you are the ones that will project the culture of this country, as one of you is projecting a big culture in this part of the world. And you are the ones that will change the society for the better. On this account, my discussion of the shaping of the future is to really raise the gaze of your eyes to something philosophical rather than empirical. What do I mean by this? I'm not trying to be empirical about what I want to discuss with you. I want to be philosophical. That is, I want to put together for you shaping the future in terms of factual statements that are put in logical framework. And when we talk about how to shape the future, I think it is an arduous exercise in information gathering. And it is the activity of somebody that has a foresight. These attributes must be possessed either by an individual or by a society or by a whole nation or by a global outfit like United Nations. And it is a product of fear. Why should you plan for the future? Why don't you become complacent? Because you are afraid of the unknown. And therefore you have to plan and have faith in the outcome of your plan. Let us try to look at the future in terms of a philosophical stance. What is the future? I put here that yesterday was a future that has become history. Is that not a fact? All about it carries the verb was or were. It pertains to opportunities you might have gained or you might have lost. It could elicit joy or regret if you look at yesterday as a future of the past. But for the foresighted, somebody who is looking beyond the present, it is an opportunity for you to regain a loss or build on a gain that you had yesterday. Let us also look at the other dimension of the future. Today is an opportunity of a duration of 24 hours before it becomes history or a future. It will elicit either success or failure, but for the foresighted, it is an opportunity to learn from the outcome of yesterday's efforts and build on them or do things differently in preparation for tomorrow. Therefore, what is tomorrow? Tomorrow is that future you're always talking about. But to me, it is mysterious or it is unknown. Until it unfolds, until that tomorrow unfolds, it can only be an object of foresight. That is, you're looking forward to it. You are planning towards it. This is what it really entails. Now, what is the role of the foresighted person with respect to the future? Since the future embraces yesterday, which was history, today which becomes history after a duration of 24 hours, and tomorrow, which is mysterious, the future is reserved for the foresighted, who can operate within the context of yesterday, today, and tomorrow. How does the foresighted operate? The foresighted might have or might have not operated within the context of yesterday. His or her contact with yesterday may not be personal. It could be through access to history. What do we mean by history? That is, by searching for information and data on issues of relevance that already exist from yesterday, trying to build on it from today. So today, the foresighted has that opportunity to operate on the basis of the information or the data that he or she must have gathered yesterday and to initiate more information gathering today. Therefore, with the combination of yesterday and today, the foresighted enters tomorrow with what have happened. And then the foresighted is trying to confront tomorrow, which is the unknown. What is the unknown? The unknown is the phenomenon that has always challenged humanity or the human race right from man's appearance on the planet Earth. Since man has no clue as to what unknown will offer, in spite of his yesterday and today, he or she often approaches it with fear. It is that fear that gives birth to his mental and spiritual engagement with the unknown. Definitely, his yesterday and today, they provide the objective basis for his understanding of tomorrow, which is the unknown. With the wisdom, knowledge, and understanding of yesterday and today, he or she will veer into the unknown, which is tomorrow, with predictions and probabilities of what tomorrow, the unknown, will be. Even though predictions and probabilities of what will be may not be, yet concern with and full comprehension of his yesterday and today, mixed with fear and uncertainty, has begun man's intellectual journey and the search for what you call growth or development or advancement. In the process, man has been able to manage nature with his inquisitiveness, science and technology, and being able to transform man, which I call the beast in the forest, to the beast of civilization. Now, let us talk about shaping the future. I say shaping the future is shaping the unknown. What does it entail to shape the future, which is unknown? It behoves an entity, whether an individual or a society or a nation or an international setup, to plan and have faith in the outcome of your plan constantly in order to shape the future. So the difference then between entities, whether between individuals, between societies, or between nations or international organizations, is the nature of planning itself that is being adopted. For example, planning may be engaged on the basis of complacency or radical change. What do I mean by complacency? You may approach the future, which is the unknown, by trying to be complacent, by thinking that the future or tomorrow or the unknown will be a projection of yesterday's and today's. This is a linear projection that does not take into account unforeseen or other extraneous factors. That is, it does not foresee what can happen between yes and tomorrow, which is the unknown. It might be meaningful to some extent if the information and the data you have collected from yesterday and today are relatively reliable and detailed, but there is no land where events can be predicted over a long time with such. Now, let us look at planning for a radical change as opposed to complacency. When you approach the future, which I call the unknown, which you call the tomorrow, it can be expected that there's likely not to be a basis from which we can predict tomorrow, from yesterday and today's occurrences. Man's tomorrow is usually laced with uncertainties and unpredictable. That is, the tomorrow may take a drastic change from its past, far more above what yesterday and today may say. The entity, the individual, the society, or the nation should develop several scenarios, that is, several possibilities that the future may take. This we call for attributes that can predict the future. The entity must be able to combine an historical as well as statistical minds to build the possibilities or the scenarios of the future. It is when you can predict the future that you can shape the future. If you cannot predict the future, you cannot shape the future. However, whatever might be the scenario that you build, it will still remain probability. I think this is why when you look at mankind itself, we cannot divorce mankind from dependence on a superior or supernatural intelligence that knows tomorrow from today, that knows the end from the beginning. That is why we are God to shape when we are trying to shape the future. We are always looking for this supernatural intelligence when we are shaping the future, because the supernatural intelligence knows tomorrow from today and knows the end from the beginning. Let us look at individual and society. What they do in trying to shape the future and how they affect the future. Apart from the uncertainty that bedevils any planning for the future, the individual can be limited or enhanced by the larger community or society in shaping the future. That is, the future you are trying to shape for yourself can be limited or enhanced by your nation. Society also can be limited by the individual. Society can limit the individual by lack of provisions of an enabling environment or basic social services like water, electricity, hygienic surroundings, and so on. They can limit the future shaping of the individual. Similarly, the individual can also limit the society in shaping the future by neglecting his or her civic responsibilities and social rights. For example, if you fail to pay your taxes, you are limiting the nation's ability to shape the future. If you fail to vote, you are limiting the society because you are neglecting your social responsibilities. If you fail as individuals to kick against obnoxious laws, statutes in your society, you are also limiting in shaping the future. What is my conclusion? Because you haven't given me enough time. But that's why I had to prepare this speech, because if I have time, I could speak for 3 hours philosophically on the future. So my conclusion is that shaping is a human intellectual activity which traverses yesterday, a former future, today, that will be another 24 hours, and tomorrow that is an unknown by itself. This future is usually constructed to improve on man's predicament as it exists currently. It requires drawing from yesterday and today's information, experience, and data shape. I fear of the unknown, because if you of the unknown, you won't worry. But if you don't have it, you fear, and that is why you engage in planning against the unknown, and you have faith in the outcome of your planning. And no matter how tight a plan could be, its outcome is always a probability. It is always a probability. You are never sure exactly turn out. And I say that is why we can hold mankind from dependence on a superior or a supernatural intelligence. He knows tomorrow from today. He knows the end from the beginning. We call him or her God, because it will be her. Am I not right? So we call him or her God. giving me 12 minutes.
Thank you very much, sir. Can we celebrate the Vice Chancellor, Professor Theophilus Fadayomi once again? That was a good one, taking us from the past to the present and then to the future, and what you need to do to shape the future. I want us to continue to learn from other speakers as well. The next speaker will be taking us through another angle. He's going to be speaking from art, and he's going to be speaking mainly from poetry. He's going to be telling us how poetry makes you believe. Ladies and gentlemen, make welcome a friend, a brother, John Awudeyi. He's a poet and he's a businessman. Please put your hands together for him. Celebrate him. You don't know the worth of this guy. That's why you're not celebrating.
Thank you. Good morning. Good morning. Do I have to learn how to use the mic now? Okay. Good morning, everybody. Smile for me small. Thank you. All right. So I'm John Awudeyi, and I'll be speaking on how poetry makes you believe. So let's just leave it on this. Don't bother changing the slides all through. Yeah. I'll tell you quickly about someone. She was there in the 20th century with Martin Luther King Jr. and all other icons who fought severely for human rights in America. She's someone who is well respected in the community of human rights activists. And she said, people will forget what you said. People will forget what you do, but people will never forget how you made them feel. Her name is Maya Angelou. The thought of how we feel is where I want to begin this conversation this morning. Because as much as we appreciate logics and empirical thinking, it is important for us to not forget our real intrinsic human capacity to feel and to decide and make decisions by the emotions that come across to us. How we feel becomes important in the decisions that we make every day. So, why do I need to talk about emotions? Because we communicate, and every day we need to buy more people into our journey. We need to get more people to believe what we're believing and to run the courses that we're believing with the same verve and gusto as we do. So we need to talk to them and help them understand what we understand and get them to run like us. We need to communicate. But you want to do it as effectively as possible. So you want to generate so much information that is guided with emotion that will capture the other person's attention and drive the message home enough to get them to move. So, poetry is known to all of us, but how good do you know poetry? I'll take your mind back very quickly. So unfortunately, Nigeria just got out of the World Cup a few days back. Yes, I'm sad. I don't like it. And I can say in very simple words, it's sad that Nigeria came out of the World Cup, but it's okay. But as a poet, I can say it this way. I can talk to the guys who played for the Nigerian team, the Super Eagles, and I would say to them, come on, let's go home. Even the winner will go home. Let's do it quickly. Let's be early. Let's do it fast. Else, we'll meet the traffic in the air. Now that's a use of sarcasm to tell the Super Eagles team that I appreciate you, but you know what? I won't pat your back because you're mine. That is poetry. So poetry is like lead. It's a dense ball of information. It carries huge emotion. It is subtle, but it gets down. And the use of poetry cannot be undermined in the history of the world. And so we continue to speak about wonderful icons like William Shakespeare, Maya Angelou, and our very own people, Wole Soyinka, and very recently, in the use of spoken word, Dike Chukwumerije, who is doing wonderful with the theater is taken around the country. So today, I want to talk to you about believing because it's important for me. And I'll share with you why believing is important to me and should be important to you. I discovered that everything we do as humans, we do to the measure of our belief. Everything we do to the measure of our belief. So you would go to the place you need to go today because you believe to the extent that makes you go. Our energy to push, to drive, to get things done is rested on our believing. So, believing is the foundation, the base for everything we get to do. And I like to tell people that our country is one thing to believe in. And so a couple of years back, not too long, I began an initiative that keeps telling people you have to believe in Nigeria. And this was a task that was difficult for me for a long time because I kept looking for things around to help people believe. I want to look at a project that is being done around to say, this is why you should believe. I was looking for a ray of hope from around us, but the thunder struck in my mind one day when I realized that I've been looking in the wrong directions. I ought to have said to people, look inwards, because everything that we get to see around us are because somebody believed when he could not or she could not see it. We make things be because we believe without seeing it around us. So if we keep looking for things around us to help us to believe enough to get things done, we are of all men most miserable. Can I share with you, as a poet would, what I think I want to leave you with after today about Nigeria? So, give me my poetic cap. For millennia past, no group of people are falling from the blue sky with a common understanding, nor is any emerged from the blue sea pursuing a common goal. Every group that unites works hard for it, and thereafter they live in the reward of their choices. Every effectual group, from business to sport, country to race, make for themselves a core, and though they may not all grasp it at first, every member gravitates closer and closer to that uniting core. It is utter deception, a complete loss of mind, to think of becoming my best self without a synergy with others, who though are moving in different directions, are strategic points of intersection with me. So think of a basket, many individual parts. None is a basket all by itself, but all the individual parts in different locations, moving in different directions, are made to overlap at strategic points of commonality. Each piece of straw that seems to have no use lying on the floor becomes an important part of the whole because there's a common interest of making a basket. And yes, it is hard to make the needed sacrifices now, but battles have never been won at the dining. So, the hardness of repair will increase for our children if we neglect our opportunity, because as society is continually deprived of sound understanding and love, the resources with which to sacrifice reduces in the hand of the prudent and brave. Time is going to the grave. Wake up. Wake up. extreme of fending for self, we seem to have forgotten that self is not complete without less. Selfless. That formidable ideology of every man's pursuit of self-actualization with a constant acknowledgement of the network around it. One will chase 1,000, two will chase 2,000, no, 10,000. That is possible because of the multiplied effect of a common interest. A common interest. And in case you're satisfied with the 1,000 you're able to chase, remember, you will not always be the one to chase. Sometimes we all get chased. So sorry when they're after you. The comfort you had and indifference you exhibited becomes tragedy. You're so easily caught. Does it come clear to you? Is it visible? I mean, do I need to help you see that the lives we have now is a summarization. It's an accumulation of the actions and inactions of the past. So you either join to create a better future or have children who will be scourged by the future you refuse to create. Why is it so hard for Freke and Aisha to find opportunity to complement their ability? My life is in a suspension. I am shoved far from my success story. Greatness shouts within me, but I cannot reach my glory. The ladder is so high without rungs below. Community is non-existent. Individuality goes extinct. Selfish me. If I struggle hard enough, I can make enough of my education, have a glamorous wedding ceremony, and send my kids to Oxford. It's all about me when community is absent. So why do you call us a nation when you know it's all a lie? Why do you tell me to love my brother, turn your back, slide? I was in the university 5 years because the course is lucrative. For those years, I had to blind my eyes to the greatness that is instinctive. No community, terrible impunity. It's all about survival. It's all about survival. No community. I'm losing my individuality. Where is my community? Where is my nation? But at last, when I eventually rest in my blessings, it will be because I finally found a covering. Community. I believe in you. I believe in us. I believe in Nigeria. Thank you.
I believe in you. I believe in us. I believe in Nigeria. Actually, with the happenings in Nigeria right now, some of you can testify to the fact that sometimes it's difficult to believe in Nigeria. Really. If I were to announce now that I was giving everybody here a free visa, I can imagine the amount of jubilation and all that. But this is what we have. This is where we are. We are Nigerians, and we need to shape our future. And talking about shaping our future, the next speaker will be coming to talk about our future is in our hands. Help me welcome Ade Balogun of Longitude.
Hi everyone, and thank you very much for having me. I've themed my talk, Our Future is in Our Hands. In looking towards the future, you have to first look at the past. So today, I'm going to try and tell you a little bit of my own story, looking at my past and examining what has happened so far. And I really do hope that you can draw some parallel to yours. Can I have the next slide, please? In the late months of 2007 and early months of 2008, I was robbed 3 times on the streets of Lagos. The first time, I had gone to pick my mom up from the airport. We had a flat tire. We stopped to change it on Mobalaji Bank Anthony. Guys came on the back of 2 bikes with guns, robbed us of all our possessions, including the car keys. The second time, I was driving home from school and was around CMS area. The AC in my car wasn't working, so I had my windows up because I knew it was unsafe. But I was roasting under the hot heat of Lagos sun. So I decided to wind down to get a little bit of air. Immediately I did that, two guys came, one on my side, one on the passenger side, with knives, asking me for my bag. I said something to them in Yoruba, which is not my natural language of choice. And the one on my side told me in Yoruba, "Oh, you're one of us. Okay, give us all the money you have." So I did. That day, I got to save my bag, my phones, and my IDs at the very least. On the third occasion, I was driving, I went to fix the tires that caused the first robbery in the first place. And I was on my way home on the bridge above Obalinde, and the guy came again with a knife. And he's like, "Give me your bag, your phone." This time, I was an expert in this field, so I negotiated. I gave him money and got to keep my bag. But as you would imagine, at that point, it wasn't just me that had all this bad luck. The system was faulty. I was frustrated. It only made sense that I should leave the country and find a better life in somewhere else where the grass is greener, right? But I had a master's degree that I was going to get in about 9 months from that day. So I was like, it makes sense for me to get my master's and then I'm bailing. In trying to get my master's degree, I studied architecture. I was posed with a problem to choose my thesis topic. And something very interesting happened. I was driving again. I'm always driving. Somewhere on Ajoseadogun. And these children came up to the car to try and wipe down my windscreen. I wasn't afraid of them. They were cute. If anything, I actually felt empathy for them. And in that moment, it dawned on me that 5 years from that day, those children on the streets who were cute and just wanted to wipe down my windscreen for money would be teenagers. Adolescents would have stolen their innocence. And then, the next time they approach my vehicle, they will see the fear in my eyes, and again, they will rob me. So what happened in that moment influenced what ended up being my thesis project. I designed a children reformatory complex for street children in Lagos. That if it were going to be implemented today, it will still be solving a problem in our country. A wise man once said, Winston Churchill to be specific, "We shape our buildings, and then our buildings shape us." So if there's any lesson I learned from being in university, that was it. So now, I'm taking you on a journey through my life. We're going to fast forward. I had practiced architecture, gotten bored, and dabbled into e-commerce. So I'd landed myself a job in one of Nigeria's leading e-commerce firms, and I had the title of Head of Administration. My job role was very interesting. I had a lot of things that I had to do, a lot of people to interact with on a daily basis. So I started to make some observations in that time of my life. First, we had to rent warehouses. Would you imagine that only 1 in 4 warehouses in Lagos actually belong to Nigerians? Majority of them are owned by foreigners. Next slide. So when I got to that realization, I was like, okay, this is interesting. The second task I had that kind of struck me was furniture. This company was growing fast. We had to sit over 1,000 people in different locations. So I needed furniture. It was a big problem. I found a company that could supply and install this furniture in no time. But I had a problem. 2 months down the line, the furniture starts to give way. So I got angry and I was like, you know what? I'm going to fix it. I'm going to find another company who can give me, better quality stuff. Logically, that's the thing to do. So I found another company, made a selection. I was happy. This was going to be, I'm solving all these problems? So I asked for the address of the warehouse so that we can come and pick up the furniture we've ordered. And I was given the same address as the previous company I had been buying from. So to my surprise, I was like, what's going on here? I quickly learned that the owner of the two companies were first cousins. Those were smaller businesses from their grandfather's business, which again was a foreign-owned business. That made me really wonder, what is going on here? Quickly, I'll give you a third example. We were to procure plastic bags to be able to ship fast-moving consumer goods around the country. And instead of importing, it was only natural to say, let me find it in my environment. Again, I went on my search. I know you're not surprised. I found another foreign-owned business in my country. So this makes me wonder. Most of those businesses have longevity. They've been around for years, almost 100 years. Their grandparents were the ones that made that way for them. What were my grandparents doing when people were acquiring land and setting up industry and infrastructure in Nigeria? That made me really wonder. Weddings? Owambe. What were we really doing with our time? So, this brings me to my now. And this can I have the next slide? I would like to take you guys on a little journey with me, something which is fast becoming my TEDx game. I'd like you to please close your eyes. Are you guys ready? Tidy? Now, I'll give you a word, and I want you to imagine the character of the person that is synonymous to this word. Are you guys ready? Dreadlocks. Now open your eyes. Sorry? Okay, fantastic. But I would say that most of you thought along the lines of somebody who is creative in entertainment, or, you know, probably smokes a little bit of Indian hemp, irresponsible, and all of that. But the truth is, that is just the label. What I do now for a living is that I own a small business where I help people grow their natural hair in its locked form. And in case you are wondering, what I have on my hair is all mine, Nigerian hair. So, in my day-to-day life, I convince people that what they have is good. The hair that is growing out of their hair can grow. And it's almost like the most ridiculous job to have. But where did this mentality come from? It comes from colonialism and mental slavery. Back in the day, for you to be able to get some benefits in Nigeria, you had to have lighter skin and straighter hair. Hence, skin bleaching, Brazilian weave, and X and X and X. But my point is, there is something in us. The people you see on the screen, not all of them are entertainers, musicians. As a matter of fact, the first person right there is my mom, who chose to start her own locks about 3.5 years ago now. The point is, we need to recognize what is around us. We need to see the value in what is in us. So, back in 2007, when I was being robbed, there was value in that robbery. There was space to create a better future for those children. 100 or so years ago, there was value in our land. There was value in manufacturing. Our people just did not see it. Now, there's an African investment summit coming up later this year, and the experts in that industry have lined up these 5 things, and they say that if we can focus on this, this is how we move Africa forward. This is how we change our future. Basically, light up and power Africa, which is very familiar to us. Feed Africa. I'm going to divert a little bit on the Feed Africa part. I met a young lady a couple of years ago in Jos, and she showed me pictures of tomatoes on her phone They were on hectares of land, like till infinity. And I was like, what is this? And she said, it's tomatoes, and they are all going to get rotten. But every year in Lagos, there's a crisis where tomato prices skyrocket. This is an opportunity. You and I can be shipping this thing down in whatever way we can, but that is how we shape our future. We need to industrialize Africa. We need to integrate Africa. We need to improve the quality of life for the people in Africa. I must also add something else with the just killings in northern Nigeria. We need to stop seeing ourselves as different. There's power in our numbers. We are 180 million of us. We can sell to each other and all be rich. Killing each other is not the problem. All we really need to do is think differently. Basically out of time, so I'll wrap this up very quickly. Can I have the next slide? I have 7 suggestions that I have adopted in my life that I think you might be able to learn from. First, you are not insignificant. You have the power to change things. We oftentimes look to one man to change it, but that one man is you and me. Follow your passion, focus. What you are looking for in Sokoto is right inside your Sokoto. Trust yourself, be consistent, have courage against all odds, and above all, to thyself be true. I'm going to wrap up very quickly by telling you another short story that was told to me by my friend called Chris when I was preparing for this TED Talk. He said to me, a salesman was sent somewhere in Africa to sell shoes, and when he landed, he saw that nobody had shoes. So he called home and said, they don't wear shoes here. Do not bother sending any shoes. I'm coming back home. A few months later, another more enthusiastic salesman was sent to the same location. He got there and saw that nobody had shoes. He called home and was like, send all the shoes. Nobody here has shoes. So it depends on what side of the coin you're looking. The future is in your hands. How are you going to play it? Thank you.
Wow. Good to see you. At least I've been wondering what to do with my beard. Now I know who to see. I want them to get here. It's possible, right? Awesome. All right. Good morning, panel of judges, honorable timekeeper, my fellow debaters, and the audience. I put it to you that right now, Salim Ibrahim will be talking to us on every student should be a debater. He's the vice president of the debating team of University of Elizade.
Hello, everyone. I've actually been debating for a year now. And within my course of debating, I have invited people to join the debating society. A lot of people give excuses as to why they cannot become debaters. Some say that I am not comfortable enough to speak in front of people. Others say that I do not have the capacity to engage a wide variety of debating topics. Some people may give you the excuse of not being outspoken people. So regardless of whether they talk or not, it actually makes no difference at all. But I want you to understand that the excuses that people provide for refusing to engage in debating usually arises from their misconception of what debating is actually supposed to do for them. You see, it is not a prerequisite for you to be an extraordinary speaker or for you to be a highly intelligent person to become a debater. It it is not like rocket science. You get? It's something that requires training. It is a skill that everyone can actually develop. Well, today, within the course of my speech, I will be mentioning two amongst the numerous benefits of debating that I will use to try to persuade you to engage in debating. But it is important to understand that the benefits that I'll be speaking on debating are things you can possibly learn doing other activities. But debating provides you with a unique platform, a more interesting to be able to learn those things that I'll be speaking on. Firstly, debating helps you to become a better speaker, a more skilled speaker. And secondly, debating provides you with an opportunity to learn things that you wouldn't have ordinarily gotten the chance to learn in the class. Now, coming to the first point, how debating helps you to become a better speaker. I would like to first ask the question, who amongst you find it very difficult to speak in the... Just signify, raise your hands. Who amongst you usually are very frightened, like lack confidence to speak? Okay. A lot of you have your hands down. Even our chancellor that spoke to, he's up. I'm sure all of you do not want to portray your lack of confidence to the public, but I understand. Speaking is something that is very, very difficult. Debating is something that improves your self-confidence. You see, unfortunately today, a lot of the students we have are suffering from glossophobia, that is speech anxiety. They find it very difficult to speak in front of people and find it very, very difficult to express their ideas to the public. There are two categories of students, by the way. The first category are those that have agreed that public speaking is something that they have to embrace and have tried to eradicate their lack of self-confidence. They have tried over and over again and at some point have lost focus and now are even believing that maybe public speaking is something that is embedded in your DNA and it's either you have it or not, and if you don't have it, there is no way you can learn it, but you can actually learn it. The second category of students are those who do not think it is necessary to learn how to speak in public. Today, I am telling you it is, because I have a question. As students, you are learners, you are embodiments of ideas, of creativity. So my question to you is, who is in the best position to convey your ideas or your creativity to the world? And secondly, what better means is there for you to convey such idea or convey such creativity to the world, if not through speaking? Some people may say, well, I will just put up short Snapchat or WhatsApp and it's going to do. But no, the reality is if you want to provide credibility for whatever it is that you stand for or for whatever it is that you support, you need to provide presentations like public speaking in a way that you give people the opportunity to be able to ask you questions which show that you actually believe completely in whatever it is that you stand for. So providing short clips on Snapchat will actually not cut it or do the job. So debating is so important in enhancing your speaking skills because it doesn't only teach you how to support something that you believe in, but it also gives you the opportunity to learn how to defend those ideas when you have the opportunity to do so. Because through debating, for example, when you are debating, some people can interrupt sometimes to ask you POIs in the British parliamentary debate. Your ability to think on your feet is something that is very necessary in defending whatever ideas it is that you are going to put forward to the world to believe in. Now, coming to the second point, which I think is one of the most important benefits of all. Debating provides you with the opportunity to learn things that you wouldn't ordinarily be able to learn in the classroom. Schooling today, say for example, you have gone through your primary school and your secondary school and stuff like that. You've learned things that cut across various fields like social studies, civic, sciences, and stuff like that. But the thing is, the problem is that at that point, most most students are usually blinded by the motivation of well academically simply to like please their parents. They don't give what they are being taught a second thought. For example, say they have thought about the human rights or thought about the constitution or governance. People don't really think twice about all these things. So the problem is to the point where they do not give these type of things a second thought. It means that they don't give those things they know the opportunity to have an impact upon their person or their personality or the way they look at the world. Now, coming to the university level too, the majority of what you learn are things that are directly related to your field of study. Say, for example, you're an engineering student, most of what you do is usually related to calculations, and if you're an accounting student, it's usually directed to your course of study completely. Now, except you're a voracious reader, most of what you learn in the classroom, it doesn't give you the knowledge you actually require to make sense of the world and to be able to understand a lot of controversial issues around you. But debating, on the other hand, it provides you with knowledge across several fields that you can use to be able to understand how the world works and how you can actually impact the world positively. Say, for example, to be an engineering student, but through debating, I've been able to learn things across the field of law, the field of governance, the field of philosophy, and things like this. Because one of the worst nightmares that can happen to a debater is going into a debating room where you will be given a topic to debate on that you have absolutely no knowledge about. So it forces you to study. It forces you to learn things that don't directly relate to your field. Like you learn things like the game theory. The game theory in relation to the minority groups is a theory that explains to you the consequences that a man that is facing oppression, say because of his race, and deciding to change his skin color for acceptance in the society. The game theory will help you to understand the implications of that one person's decision to the vast majority of people that are suffering from such oppression and do not have the ability to escape it in that same manner. You learn things like the social contract theory, a theory that helps you to understand the justification of why the government has the right to make certain decisions in the society. You learn more about your rights as an individual that improves your level of understanding of your rights as a citizen and your obligations to the society. So debating gives you all these type of knowledge that is responsible for providing you with social, economic, and political enlightenment. Because the world as it is already filled with people that are going to school. What we require in order to shape the future is a change in paradigm, a change in the way we think, a change in the way we look at things, and this is something that debating can actually do for you. When you engage in researching, for example, especially in a lot of controversial issues, you see, recently I came across a lady who said she is a feminist. And she also encourages men to be chivalrous towards her. Like she's always expecting a man to make her feel like she's a lady, she's weak, stuff like that. These are against the principles of feminism. But the reason is because she is so ignorant and she has fallen among the category of people that do not research, that do not think, and do not even know the reason why they actually believe in the things they believe in. Debating provides you with the opportunity to learn things like this and to be able to think about them critically in a way that you have plausible reasons for whatever it is that you stand for. It is okay to be a feminist. It is also okay to refuse to accept feminism. But what is more important is you have to understand and you have to be able to provide plausible reasons for whatever side that you believe. Future can never be shaped by a group of people that are ignorant, so ignorant that they don't even understand the reason why they believe in certain things or don't. Debating provides you with the opportunity to learn so much and to be able to speak for whatever it is that you believe in and to be able to defend whatever it is that you believe in that can be responsible for shaping the future. Now, to wrap my talk all up, we have had people that have made radical change in the society. When we're talking about people like Nelson Mandela, we're talking about people like Martin Luther King Jr. These are people that were not necessarily debaters, but they had to speak up for whatever it is they believed in, and to convince the society to back them up as of necessity to bring about those changes. If they didn't speak up, if they didn't have the knowledge to back whatever claims that they had, those radical changes wouldn't have occurred all in the society, you get. But if you are a debater, firstly, it motivates you by providing you with the confidence necessary to speak on whatever it is that you believe in. And secondly, it teaches you how to think critically. That makes you more objective. Problems that we have in this part of the world, for example, people desiring to vote along ethnic lines and people just willing to do whatever it is that they like without thinking so deeply about it. These kind of problems will be completely eradicated with debating, and this is how debating can help us to completely change the future by being able to have a paradigm shift that will change the way we think and change the way we view the world, and having a future that is worth looking out for. Thank you very much.
Some of us are not debaters. Please put your hands together for him one more time. I was carried away and I didn't know he's exhausted his time. How many of us are having fun here? All right. Shegun taught us to celebrate ourselves. All right. Now I want to know how many of us are actually learning today. So if you have learned anything today, celebrate yourself. Shola, don't try it. You didn't come on time. All right. For those of us that came late, I'm going to teach us before we move further. It's a simple way. Just watch. All right, can we celebrate ourselves? Yeah, feels better. You got it. Yeah, you got it. You got it. All right, we're moving further, and we're going to be watching a video. It's a video presentation talking to us about morality in animals. Please watch, and we will be right back. Sorry for the break in transmission. This is Nigeria. As much as I would not like to say it, this is Nigeria. And, well, this is Elizade in Nigeria. So this is Elizade in Nigeria. And they're fixing the light issue at the moment. Is not what we want to deal with, but there is still light. The light, I mean, is to get the projector on, because you wonder, how is this guy talking and I can hear and he says there is no light? But you know, some things will just... So, I want to ask a simple question just to engage us while we wait for them. From the speakers, 4 speakers that have spoken to us, Prof has spoken to us, Adebalogun has spoken to us.
Yes, I've had a chance to look at...
Okay, are we ready? Okay, projector is coming up. Now, by the time they come back, by the time we're done with the video, I'll come back with my question. Adebalogun has spoken. John Awodeye has spoken. and the vice president of the Debaters Club has spoken. What are we learning? That after today, we would go out as the future of Nigeria to shape the future. We are the future. How do we shape the future we want? Ladies and gentlemen, if the technical team are ready. Okay, since they're not ready, who wants to tell us what you've learned? What do you think you want to do? Let's engage ourselves. Let's engage ourselves. Shegun was talking about leaving his bed to get to this place. Me, I don't want to get to that level. I want to come back to your own. When I grow up, I want to be like you. Clean shave. And you see, even Prof is like that. It's not for small boys. It's those of us small boys that are still growing. So, how many of us are already thinking in that light? You're already thinking of a solution to shape the future. Sir, you want to say something? Please come. Please come. Please put your hands together for him. Put your hands together for him. Yes, you are not given a special invitation to speak at TEDxElizade, but now you have one.
Thank you. My name is Ifai. And talking about revolution, I think one of the speakers talked about voting along ethnic lines. But then, you know, we cannot change anything if we don't take action. So, as an Igbo guy who was born and brought up in Ondo State, I am contesting for an election, and I think that's like a huge thing. And the reason I'm doing that is not necessarily just for the sake of doing the campaign promises after I emerge, but then I feel it is high time we started enforcing our Nigerianness. We shouldn't be in Nigeria because we're just born here. My father was in Nigeria. I didn't choose who my father was, but then I can choose where I stay. I can choose who I become. So I want to see how we can, how I can start up the revolution about making you do things you want to do, not necessarily because your father was A, and so you have to toe that line of being A, but you want to be the person you choose to be. So that's what I think I should be working on. Yeah, I already have that, but then this is like an encouragement. Being here is an encouragement. Tells me, okay, yeah, you have people who actually think in that line, or those who share that line of thought. You shouldn't just, you know, let who your father was, who your society or what your society is, enforce who you want to become. So thank you.
Please put your hands together for him. In summary, what he's trying to tell us is, some of us have a friend who is Igbo up in Akure. She speaks Yoruba better than Yoruba indigenes. Fortunately for her, she now married a Yoruba woman, a Yoruba man. So she's going nowhere. But her sister is not yet married, but they speak Yoruba very well. Why can't they contest in Ondo State? Must they go to the east to contest? And we are all Nigerians. Let us begin to look in that light. I'll call one more person. Is the video? No, we'll bring other people later. Okay, someone raised up his hand. I'll give you 1 minute to talk, and then the video will come up. Please put your hands together for him. This is your cap. You look like Bukola Saraki.
Thank you. Good morning, everyone. Thumbs up to the organizers of the event. I just wanted to say this, that part of most of the things they have been saying, if you follow them, it has been more of sharing their ideas and so many innovations and knowledge they've been able to gather over some time. And one of the major things I see based on my experience as an IT consultant is that most of us, we usually hide our knowledge. And if we are talking about shaping the future, for me, the major thing is for every one of us to start sharing our knowledge out there to everyone, and do not withhold this information that you have. And if you look at it, let's look at the YouTube and most of these materials that we access online, it's the white people that actually give out this information for us to use. So not to waste much of our time, if we are talking about shaping the future, the major thing we all should be looking at is that when you have a knowledge that you know that the other person does not have, let's kindly share it out with the others. Thank you.
Thank you. Bros, I'll collect out your cap. You know where we dey meet now. I must collect it. Ladies and gentlemen, we'll continue with the video presentation. Enjoy. Other people that want to make a comment, we'll bring it up later. Enjoy.
She said, that's just a bunch of hooey. And I said to her, well, your year is going to be long and arduous, dear. Needless to say, it was. Some people think that you can either have it in you to build a relationship or you don't. I think Stephen Covey had the right idea. He said you ought to just throw in a few simple things, like seeking first to understand as opposed to being understood. Simple things like apologizing. You ever thought about that? Tell a kid you're sorry, they're in shock. I taught a lesson once on ratios. I'm not real good with math, but I was working on it. And I got back and looked at that teacher edition. I taught the whole lesson wrong. So I came back to class the next day and I said, look, guys, I need to apologize. I taught the whole lesson wrong. I'm so sorry. They said, that's okay, Miss Pearson. You were so excited. We just let you go. I have had classes that were so low, so academically deficient that I cried. I wondered, how am I going to take this group in 9 months from where they are to where they need to be? And it was difficult. It was awfully hard. How do I raise the self-esteem of a child and his academic achievement at the same time? One year I came up with a bright idea. I told all my students, you were chosen to be in my class because I am the best teacher and you are the best students. They put us all together so we could show everybody else how to do it. One of the students said, really? I said, really? We have to show the other classes how to do it. So when we walk down the hall, people will notice us. So you can't make noise. You just have to strut. And I gave him a saying to say, I am somebody. I was somebody when I came. I'll be a better somebody when I leave. I am powerful and I am strong. I deserve the education that I get here. I have things to do, people to impress, and places to go. And they said, yeah. You say it long enough, it starts to be a part of you. And so, I gave a quiz, 20 questions. Student missed 18. I put a +2 on this paper and a big smiley face. He said, Miss Pearson, is this an F? I said, yes. He said, then why'd you put a smiley face? I said, because you on the roll. You got 2 right, you didn't miss them all. I said, and when we review this, won't you do better? He said, yes, ma'am, I can do better. You see, -18 sucks all the life out of you. +2 said, I ain't all bad. For years, I watched my mother take the time at recess to review, go on home visits in the afternoon, buy combs and brushes and peanut butter and crackers to put in her desk drawer for kids that needed to eat, and a washcloth and some soap for the kids who didn't smell so good. See, it's hard to teach kids who stink. And kids can be cruel. And so she kept those things in her desk, and years later, after she retired, I watched some of those same kids come through and say to her, you know, Miss Walker, you made a difference in my life. You made it work for me. You made me feel like I was somebody when I knew at the bottom I wasn't. And I want you to just see what I've become. And when my mama died 2 years ago at 92, there were so many former students at her funeral. It brought tears to my eyes, not because she was gone, but because she left a legacy of relationships that could never disappear. Can we stand to have more relationships? Absolutely. Will you like all your children? Of course not. And you know your toughest kids are never absent. Never. You won't like them all, and the tough ones show up for a reason. It's the connection. It's the relationships. And while you won't like them all, the key is they can never, ever know it. So teachers become great actors and great actresses, and we come to work when we don't feel like it, and we listen to policy that doesn't make sense, and we teach anyway. We teach anyway because that's what we do. Teaching and learning should bring joy. How powerful would our world be if we had kids who were not afraid to take risks, who were not afraid to think, and who had a champion? Every child deserves a champion, an adult who will never give up on them, who understands the power of connection and insists that they become the best that they can possibly be. Is this job tough? You betcha. Oh God, you betcha. But it is not impossible. We can do this. We're educators. We're born to make a difference. Thank you so much.
Say to yourself, I am born to make a difference. Some of us are not sure, you know. It's just like she said. When you say it over and over again, there is a reinforcement. That is why your pastor will tell you, keep confessing until it comes. Because there is a way, after saying it over and over, it sticks to your brain. So say it. I am born to make a difference. Let's celebrate her once again. Let's celebrate her now. She's not here, but you can celebrate her. She's a teacher. When you celebrate her, you are celebrating a teacher. Even if you don't call them teacher, we call them teacher here. Well, to take us further in the discussion, I want to invite the Regional Director for the African Student for Liberty, Lillian David. Please put your hands together. She's going to be speaking to us on going beyond borders.
Good morning, everyone. Thank you for having me. My name is Lillian, and I was not born with a silver spoon in my mouth, a gold spoon in my mouth. I don't think I even had a wooden spoon in my mouth, but I have it all because I'm a libertarian. I know what I'm in for. I know what it means to be a Nigerian. I know what it is to be a young youth, striving to achieve, striving to survive. And I have tried to recognize that my individual liberty is all I need. I'm going to be talking about Go Beyond Borders. I might not be using the slide, but I still want it to be projected so that people can understand and go along with me. I'm a normal Nigerian. I don't like it when I have to fake my accent for people to understand me. I'm going to come back home for us to understand what I'm trying to say. Going beyond borders entails striving. It can be very difficult because it's not about traveling alone. It's not about meeting up to the standards that people think or expect you to have achieved. It's about making things happen at the time they are supposed to happen. Yes, time is everything everyone has. The sky is big enough. Time is limitless. But there are some things that you should have achieved at a particular time. And sometimes, youths of today, when we haven't gotten there, it kind of weighs us down and makes you less believe in yourself. I've not just come here to talk to us today. I've come here to challenge us. My story is a big one that I would always like to share anytime I talk. I didn't start from anywhere. I was a student that didn't understand mathematics, but at home, everybody feels she's good. Oh, she's marvelous. My dad didn't understand the fact that I had a problem with reading the 3 times table. I didn't understand it. But everybody just saw the figure, the future, and Lillian would be a good mathematician. And stylishly, I was moved from one stage to another, go to science class, do the science subject, try and enjoy chemistry. And when it was WAEC, I failed physics woefully, trust me, very woefully. At that time, everybody was surprised. I failed chemistry too. The 2 core science subjects, I failed them. I think I failed mathematics too. So everyone was surprised, and it went on to the fact that she's from Edo State and there are so many witches there. So something must be happening. And there was nobody to talk to. I couldn't explain what was going wrong. I just knew I wasn't in my place. But my dad was the only one that believed in this little girl. He kept saying, whether you understand mathematics or not, I want you to do this. Yes, I called it understanding because he knew what he wanted for me. He wasn't choosing a course for me, please. But he just understood the fact that I could strive to achieve those things I think I cannot. I could strive to pass those courses I think I cannot. And he enrolled me. I did NECO. When I did NECO, I passed. And everybody was surprised. Okay, she failed WAEC and she passed NECO. How possible was that? I was actually reading, but I could still say there were some bits of, you understand. Now, I decided to just use my NECO for admission, and God gave it to me. I went into ABSU then, Abia State University. I wanted to go far away from home because I didn't want them to monitor my educational abilities. I didn't want them to keep checking on me if I knew mathematics. So I just wanted to be far from home. And it's happened that way. But there was a day, I was in class that day, and a call came in. And my dad said, I understand the fact that you are failing. I was in 100 level. So I became very surprised. Who is monitoring me? My first results just came out. It was the second semester. And I didn't tell anybody that I had a 2-point GP. So I was very surprised. And he told me, he said, Lillian, I'm not saying you shouldn't continue. I was studying agricultural economics. He told me, he said, I'm not saying you shouldn't continue with what you're doing, but I just want you to see the possibilities of what WAEC can do to your life. NECO is restricted in Nigeria. This is what WAEC can do. And I went on. I thought about it and I said, it's true. Nigeria is messed up. I would need WAEC. At least, if I need to further, then I'll need WAEC. I don't like Nigeria. And that was it. I decided to take WAEC again. And I really studied hard. But let me blow your minds. When my results came out, I was surprised. My physics was a B. My mathematics was a B. Let me not tell you about chemistry. So, then, when my results came out, something dawned on me that whatever you set your mind to achieve, you can actually do it. Because I never saw myself passing that course. Now, moving along the line, I decided to change school since I felt I was better. ABSU were having problems with cultism and all of that, and I wanted to come back home. I decided to apply in FUNAB, the Federal University of Agriculture. I did that, and they gave me soil science and land management. And another religious talk started at home again. What kind of thing is this? How can you leave agricultural economics for land, soil, what? What is that? I couldn't explain myself, but I also knew inside of me that that wasn't my line. I wanted to be an agriculturist. So say they gave me any other course apart from that, it would have been okay. Soil science and land management can be something like it, but it is still not it. I started thinking again that it's not bad to try again. I looked at the age. I wasn't too old. So I just felt I could try again. I went on for the pre-degree course. I came back, and lo and behold, they gave me agricultural economics. Now, the interesting part of the whole story. When I came into school, physics was my problem right from time. And the lecturer just decided to lose my script. I didn't know what to do. I was devastated. I went to the board and I saw 0, 0, 0 on physics of all courses. I kept crying. I explained to my friend, why didn't they do this in PCP? PCP is plant physiology. I know if I don't pass it, I'll just... Why physics? I can't repeat the course. And that was it. I requested for my script. It was actually a very long process. I requested for my script. The lecturer said, probably you forgot to write your name and all of that. But I was determined. I knew the course was a difficult course for me, and I really need to pass the course to go to the next level. So that was it. I told him, I said, Oga, me and you, we are going to SDC together. I need to see my script. If I didn't write names, bring the script and let me explain, let me check. So that was it. At the long run, I had a B, because he had to explain why he did that and all of that. There I met a lecturer. The lecturer explained to me about individual liberty. He told me he liked the way I expressed myself concerning my scores. He liked the way I talked about it. And I discovered the fact that with everything that happened, I was always thinking above the level I was at that moment. I was in 100 level. Everybody was saying, your name is written in pencil. You can go out anytime. But I kept thinking about it, and I knew that I could do it. I joined the Liberty Fold. I met a lot of people. I understand individual liberty. I discovered that there are so many things that create borders in our lives. Things like stereotypes, what people tell you, the history they tell you. When you start thinking about something, the things they tell you that happened. Oh, when I tried that thing you want to try, this is what happened to me. When I did that thing you were thinking of doing, this is what happened to me. They try to create borders that you yourself, you should understand the fact that you can cross those borders. With everything that you think, I need you to understand that there's always a crude knowledge. There is something that has been imputed in you. There's this architectural structure that is in your head of what you want to be. So if you have that structure in mind, then tell me, why can't you achieve it? The time is limitless. The sky is big enough. Stop the hate. Stop believing in too much talks about the politics. I am a politician. I'm a politician. I do politics a lot. I don't want to tell you how I went into politics in school. But the thing is, it is time for us to keep the government aside and think of ourselves. What we can do. I'm not giving an entrepreneurial talk. I'm trying to charge us that whatever you set your mind to do, you really can achieve it. If you are able to recognize what you have, and you are able to exercise your liberty without infringing on someone else's rights. I've gone beyond borders. Travels have gone beyond borders. And I've seen things. And the picture that Nigeria is being portrayed as is not what we are. Imagine there's a theft in Ghana and they are telling us it's definitely the Nigerians that are perpetrating these things. Imagine in Ghana things are happening. They call some guys the Sakawa guys. And they say, oh, Nigeria brought it. We are talking about the Yahoo guys. This is the time for us to stand up. This is the time for us to shape the future. And you can only shape the future when you can think beyond what you think you are. You can only shape the future when you understand your individual liberty. You are free. Exercise this freedom. Exercise this free speech. But make sure you don't infringe on anyone's right. Thank you very much. My name is Lillian David, and I'm a libertarian.
I think you should do better for her. That was emotional, that was explosive, that is mind-blowing. Ladies and gentlemen, we still have some other speakers that are going to come. I hope you will not go home with information overload. Shola is still coming to speak. Nike will be speaking to us. Tade will be speaking to us. Walter will be speaking to us. But in order to give space for more information in our brains, we're going to take a break right now. It's time for us to just network, and then we'll converge back in a couple of minutes. Please enjoy this break.
This is my life, yo. I choose what I need and what I don't want. This is my life, yo. I'm sorry, your words don't count. Say this is my life, yo. I choose what I need and what I don't want. This is my life, yo. I'm sorry, your names don't count. 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 I'm sorry, your names, oh, your names don't count. Yes, the night was hands down the best night of my life. Whoever knows, I don't want you out of my sight. Even with more than 2 lifetimes, I can't get enough of you, sunshine. 'Cause I love you truly, please don't you leave me. Oh, don't go away, just want you with me. Don't make me your history. Oh, that's why I say, please, please, please. Oh, please, 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 please. Teach me how to love you right. How to love you right. Breakfast in bed, anything for you. You rest instead, and I'll take the keys to school. Keys on your head every 5 minutes. Anything to make you love me, swear I'll do it. 'Cause I love you truly, please don't you leave me.